Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. It is Friday, September 30th. It is 7:09 in the morning, give or take 3 minutes for your Radio Pup app. And it is rainy, 60 degrees, and going to be a miserable day. But we always want to get out, get up, and do something. We actually have a caller on the line. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How you doing? Who am I speaking to?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Cameron Fields.
Hi, Cameron Fields. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. And I bet you're calling to speak to our next guest, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have in the studio here, we have Rabbi Walintz Fields. It's a coincidence. She has the same last name as you, as well as Hazzan Stephen Walvick from Congregation B'nai Israel.
Yeah.
Do you have a question for them?
No, I have a comment for them.
What's the comment?
How proud I am of CBI, and I'm really excited for the new year.
That is a great comment. Great. Well, thank you very much, Cameron, for calling in.
Thank you.
Have fun at school today.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
So that's a great lead-in to our guest here this morning, and I'm remiss in also saying that we also have Lori Smiley in the studio here, who is the what's your title these days? Office manager. Office manager of Congregation B'nai Israel. So let's explain this to our audience, our listeners. So Congregation B'nai Israel synagogue for 66 years now in Toms River, the Rabbi and the Hazzan. So we'll start with the Rabbi. What is your position in the congregation?
I am, my diploma says Rabbi, Teacher, and Preacher, and that is what I am. So I teach from all ages, from birth to death. Because of the demographics of our community in Ocean County, I do a lot of funerals. We have our own cemetery on Whitty Road. So I help people through their final stages, but at the same time, the most enjoyable part is also getting to know people and teaching them. I'm head of the Hebrew school, our Talmud Torah, and do all life cycle events. And of course, on Shabbat and holidays, I preach and teach and have a lot of different adult education classes.
And we would be remiss. So Cameron is your oldest, your daughter?
Yes.
And we also have two others at home.
I have, well, one's on the bus with her right now, Sammy.
Okay.
They're on their way to Solomon Schechter in Marlboro, and Kobe, who it goes to Beechwood Elementary.
Okay, very good. And we would be remiss. And Jonathan is home too.
And Jonathan and our dog Buster.
And your dog Buster. Hazzan Stephen Walvick. Now, you are Hazzan Stephen Walvick. You're not Cantor Stephen Walvick. And whenever I explain to people what Hazzan is, I always say you are the musical director. You're the creative mind. So tell us a little bit about what you do on a daily basis.
So I am a cantor. Cantor, though, is a generic term. So that could refer to cantor of a church, cantor of a different religion. Hazzan is a specifically Jewish title, which is what I usually use, but I'll answer to anything. 30 years ago, the idea of cantor Hazzan was simply someone who led the services. As we've gone into a new age, the role has expanded to cover some of the same pastoral and education roles. So I work very closely with the rabbi to impart both knowledge and inspiration through the same techniques.
And you at home have Libby, who is almost 3 in January?
She is almost 4.
Almost 4
in January.
Wow.
And she's a pistol.
Yeah. And also, since you do wear your shirt around town, you are married to a rabbi.
I am indeed married to a rabbi.
Yeah.
She is more of a chaplain rabbi, so she doesn't have a pulpit, which is fine by me.
So usually in the congregational realm, you have the rabbi and the Hazzan. They're a team. Usually, and don't take this the wrong way, usually the rabbi is the leader and the Hazzan is kind of the Robin, Batman and Robin. Okay.
To some extent, that's very true. You can't have two kings, as they say, or two queens.
Right. So when you're at home.
Yeah, exactly. That's. I'm sure she's listening now. So, yes, dear, whatever you say. Get that out of the way right now.
And also, I left out all the pastoral, the visiting, and also in the conservative movement, the rabbi is what Phill was referring to as the Mara Da'atra, the decisor of Jewish law based on previous law. So,
Yeah, I always have these conversations with a lot of my friends, and we talk about the fact, and this is going to be the new year starting on Sunday night of 5777. And that what Judaism is about is the fact that we are 5,777 years of the same law, okay? And that we have 3 different types of tiers of Judaism, Orthodox, Reform, and Conservative being in the middle. And I always explain the Conservative is kind of the ones who kind of adapt to changing times and trying to kind of be the ones that are, not to put anybody down, the most welcoming. How wrong am I? You can correct me. I'm only the president.
This is a nice opportunity.
Yes.
There are actually more than 3 because there's so many different branches of Orthodoxy. Conservative, we're splintering, unfortunately. Reform, and then there's Reconstructionist, Renewal, non-denominational. There are many different kinds. But what's unique about the conservative movement, you're right there, that we're the middle ground, and our motto for many decades has been tradition and change. So before we will change anything, we look at the tradition and the laws that came previously to see how we can adapt to life today. So we still, at least many of us, hold on to the halakha, the Jewish law, keeping kosher, Shabbat, observances, but also changing in a way because times have changed. So in the past, they said women had couldn't think or weren't the leaders, and now clearly we have female rabbis in the conservative movement because life has changed and we educate our women.
How long has it been since we've had female rabbis?
The first woman was ordained in 1985. The decision was in 84, 85, decision in 83, and that was Rabbi Amy Eilberg, who happens to be coming to our community the first weekend in December. She's one of my heroes, and she'll be addressing Congregation B'nai Israel that weekend, and all are invited.
Yes,
and why are we doing it?
Yeah, I was going to say, and the rabbi's not saying, I'm supposed to lead in with the question. We are celebrating the rabbi and her family being in our community for 10 years. So we do appreciate having you here. And now, when we talk about becoming a rabbi, we talk about the Jewish Theological Seminary. I have to be careful when I say that statement. And when we come back from break, one of the things I want to talk about is like, where does the cantor go to the Hazzan go to the same school? How does that play in? But I really want to start getting into, and this is the real reason I brought you guys in today, not because I don't like spending time with you, which I do, and I talk all the time that I am the president of the congregation, and so technically I guess you guys work for me. No, you work for the community, and that's really what I see that you do. I want to talk about Sunday night starts the Jewish high holidays. It is the what we consider the Jewish New Year and the highest time of the year, and I want to talk about awareness and what people in the community should expect to see and hear when we celebrate the Jewish high holidays. Remember, join the conversation, 732-505-1160. Back in a moment.
Everything you need to know about the Jersey Shore. This is Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. I am Phill Brilliant on my last day of substituting for Jeremy. It is 7:22 on Friday, February. Wow.
A little off there.
And
You're
I'm
a
not
little off.
I'm not on
We're
NyQuil.
an Elul.
Yes, it is Friday, September 30th. Don't get confused and put your snow boots on. Just put your raincoat on. And I'm continuing the conversation with Rabbi Walintz Fields and Hazzan Stephen Walvick of Congregation B'nai Israel.
I bet February is Sarah's birthday, right?
Yes.
And it's your first Rosh Hashanah where she's going to be at college, so you're thinking about February.
Yes. I am thinking about February.
Even if you forget her cell phone number, at least
yes,
you remember her birthday.
I remember her birthday, yes. So I want to talk about the high holidays. So we do have, starting Sunday night, Rosh Hashanah. So in a minute or less, so give us a run through, Rabbi. Oh, Rabbi, I was going to say Rabbi. They're passing off. You can share, Rabbi, Rosh Hashanah, and then we follow Yom Kippur. So give us a run through of what and why we celebrate these holidays.
Rosh Hashanah literally means Rosh, head, and Hashanah, the year. So it's the head of the year that we're hoping that will be at the head of the year and not the tail of the fish, the head of the fish. That's one of the sayings that we have, and some people actually have that on their tables too, to eat
Okay.
that. So it's the new year as we cycle through. There's different ways of counting in the calendar in Judaism. This is the month of the kings and the creation of the world, of the month of Tishrei. So it's 2 days. In Israel, too, it's 2 days. Some of the other holidays aren't. And then for 10 days, we have the 10 days of repentance, the Yamim Noraim, the days of awe, when we're supposed to ask people for forgiveness, and both for our human beings and for God. And then on Yom Kippur, 10 days later, we have a 25-hour fast day, so we can focus not on our physical needs, but our spiritual needs connecting to God. So there are many different restrictions that we have. We abstain from wearing leather, from perfume, makeup, food, of course, water, but I always try to tell my people that their health is most important, so don't fast if you're not going to be able to do it.
Right, and I always tell people that, especially when it comes to Yom Kippur, I say Kippur, is that you're going to be in synagogue all day anyway, so you won't need food, think of food, or anything like that, because that's really where you need to be. And I always say conversation. A lot of people in my office are always interested, especially when I tell them you're not going to see me for the next month because I'll be in synagogue, is that that the days of awe, and really, and you will correct me because that's what you're supposed to do, is Rosh Hashanah inscribed in the book of life. Yom Kippur sealed. And what that really means is, Hazzan?
Well, it's an opportunity for self-reflection. That's really what these days are about. It's looking back at what we've done this past year, what we've done right, what we've done wrong, and setting a new course for the new year. And so that those 10 days is to give us that opportunity, because you can't necessarily do it in one.
Right.
Maybe that moment doesn't come to you on Rosh Hashanah, but maybe it'll come to you during the week, or worse comes to worse on Yom Kippur, or even after. We do have the concept of Hoshana Rabbah, which comes another week and a half later, that you still have a chance. And there's always a chance for tshuva, for repentance, for getting back on the right track.
Right. And we call them the high holidays because these are the highest days of the year?
Correct. And probably the most observed holidays in the Jewish tradition. And Yom Kippur is considered the Shabbat Shabbaton, the highest Sabbath of all. It takes on everything. I mean, most fast days cannot take place on a Sabbath, but if it happens to fall out on Sabbath, we still fast on Yom Kippur.
Yeah, high holidays does not refer to Gary Johnson or what's happening with the Libertarian Party.
Oh, that's a terrible joke.
Terrible
but
joke.
we are going into a break, so I'll give you that one. And we've already beaten up on Gary Johnson enough this morning. We are going to go to news. When we come back after news, I want to talk about the holiday that follows Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and talk about the awareness that people should have as to what they see in their community about Sukkot. We will be back in a moment.
The news is next. Live from the WOBM Newsroom, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Good morning. Welcome back to Wake Up with Phill Brilliant. I mean, Jeremy Grunin, but this is Phill Brilliant. It is Friday, September 30th. It is 7:35. We're in our last half hour, and hopefully I get to return after this half hour. But we are joined here by Rabbi Ellen Walintz Fields of Congregation B'nai Israel and Hazzan Stephen Walvick. We are talking about the Jewish high holidays, which start on Sunday night, and I want to talk a little bit about Sukkot, which comes after Yom Kippur. So, Rabbi, give us a little background on Sukkot and what people should expect to see.
So after Yom Kippur, Hazzan and I often get the comment, "Oh, are you happy the holidays are over?" We're like, "No, it's not over." So Sukkot is a week of celebrating our harvest and being in booths. We recreate times of the past. We're a very historical religion. So, for example, the synagogue is often decorated with flowers because of that, and also more so the outside that people don't have to come to the synagogue for. we live in booths similar to what the Jewish people used to during the harvest season and also during the time wandering in the desert. These booths called a sukkah, which is a temporary structure, and there are certain regulations in Jewish law how to build them. They're not permanent. They're temporary with a roof where you could see the stars. So many people just have their meals in the sukkah, this temporary shelter. Some people actually sleep in it and do all their activities. My family, if the weather is good, we eat in it.
Now, I've seen some sukkahs have electricity.
Yes.
They run temporary lighting. They may be like a string of lights or some kind of bulb in the middle that they're there.
Well, you're out there in the dark, so you want to be able to see what you're eating.
Well, sometimes I don't like to see what I'm eating. It's better off that way. But again, so it's a temporary, and the construction might be. I've seen sometimes where they're just like drapes, or sometimes the plywood. But it's really something that is just almost thrown together and then taken down 10 days later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's also important that we realize that the holiday and living in this booth is sort of an opportunity for us to get an awareness and an understanding of those who don't have houses. It's sort of a connection to those who are homeless. So, we can experience some of that, inconvenience, if you will.
And when do we usually put them up? Right after Yom Kippur?
Correct.
And
you
and that's
start building it then, and you can't take it. Basically, as you said, about 10 days later, you take it down because the holiday is 7 days, and then the last day is Shmini Atzeret, which is the 8th day, and then Simchat Torah when we finish the cycle of reading the Torah. And also what the Hazzan said, after praying that we're being inscribed and sealed in the book of life, this temporary structure makes us realize how temporary life is and to really enjoy it. And it's the most beautiful moment when you're sitting in the sukkah and see the stars at night and hear the environment around you of nature. And it makes you appreciate life and how temporary it is.
Right. And also, depending upon possibly the size of your family, your sukkah could be a 10 by 10. It could be a little bigger. It could be a little smaller. It's really what fits your needs.
Right.
There's no specific, like it has to be 10 by 8 with an 8-foot height. There's nothing like that.
No, there's some that are just like one person sukkot because you're supposed to eat in it.
Right.
And I think that my husband has decided that since he cooks and he builds the sukkah, he makes the sukkah smaller so that I can't invite as many people.
And I know I have a good friend of mine, Michelle Pardis, that we all know, gave me a sukkah kit that she had. I believe mine is 12 by 12. It actually pops up very easily and has some temporary sides and fits right on my deck. It's perfect, except for the fact when the wind blows, it'll blow across my deck. So there are all shapes and sizes, and I think it's something, especially awareness in this day and age, that people should become aware of and accustomed to, that's what's going to happen probably around October 13th.
Correct. And the holiday starts the evening of October 16th.
Right.
And the other thing that's very cool about Sukkot is that we use 4 species that come from the Torah, the Bible, lulav and etrog. So the lulav is palm leaves. And some people, like I, have a carrier case that might, if someone doesn't know what's in it, looks very unusual. So we have the lulav, which is the palm, willows, and myrtle, thank you. And then a citrus fruit that's called an etrog.
Citron.
And it may look like your case kind of looks like a gun case.
It does.
But it's not a gun case.
No.
Not, for
We're
sure
not. We're not bringing guns. What I wanted to also get out there as I asked Hazzan to get ready for our closing part of this is that the synagogue for the high holidays is a member, quote-unquote, only tickets. You can always contact the synagogue office at 732-349-1244 before 3 o'clock today to get additional tickets if you'd like to join us. But also on Wednesday,
October 12th, there's a community Yizkor service, which is the memorial prayers that are said a couple of times a year, but often people they come on Yom Kippur especially. And it's at 3:30, Wednesday, October 12th, for anyone in the community to come. And Eli Eitan, one of our congregants, and I run that. And it's really nice. We also do it's like a taste of of Yom Kippur with a few other prayers as well.
Okay. So behind you, we have now set up Hazzan, and he has in his hand a shofar, which is a ram's horn.
Correct.
Which is blown on the Jewish holidays. Rabbi, before he blows the symbolism of blowing the shofar.
To wake us up. So it's very appropriate that we're having it here on Jeremy's show with you to wake us up, to remind us of, to repent, to say I'm sorry, and also the story that we read the second day of Rosh Hashanah about how Isaac was about to be sacrificed, but instead his father saw a ram stuck in.
Okay. So at this time, I'll ask Hazzan, and this is probably where I get asked to never return as the guest host. That was awesome. Usually, thank you, Hazzan. At the end of Yom Kippur, I think the record is 36 seconds, 40 seconds.
I'm not wearing a watch.
Hazzan will hold that for. Well, I do appreciate both of you coming in this morning, very early morning. I unfortunately don't have time for the Jeremy Grunin Magic Wand. We will cover that another time. It means we have to get you back. A Lashana Tova, a very happy and healthy new year to both of you.
A happy and a healthy new year to you, and a sweet new year. Good things.
Yep, and to everybody else in the community. Thank you very much for coming in. We'll be back in a moment.